कुछ युवा छात्र नेताओं को भी हम अपने हर सत्र में सुनते हैं। मैं आवाज़ दे रही हूँ सबसे पहले दिव्यांगना चौधरी को, जो कि तेलंगाना से आती हैं, लॉ के स्टूडेंट। उन्हें हम आमंत्रित करते हैं। दिव्यांगना को वो आएँ और अपनी बात रखें।
If the Cambridge English Dictionary meaning of the term politics is to be gone by, then politics is the job of holding power in the government. Good morning, everyone. I am here to speak on the topic politics of political, electoral, and judicial reform. Our nation does not have a wall of separation between religion and state. This is evident by the construction of Article 25, which speaks of freedom of religion. It empowers the state to restrict and regulate non-religious activities associated with religion. Now one may wonder, why did the wise makers of our constitution, who drafted such a liberal, secular, and modern constitution, give so much power to the state over religion? The words of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar give us some insight. He said that there is nothing that is not religion. And if personal laws are to be saved, then social reforms will come to a standstill. In other words, a strict separation between religion and state would have prevented the Constitution from bringing about a social revolution. My emphasis over here is not on religion, rather to point out that even the biggest political reform that independent India has witnessed till date had to go through its share of politics. From Buddha to Kabir, from Guru Nanak to Narayana Guru, India has seen social reformers emerge as a result of orthodoxity and rigidity. Independent India, however, has witnessed few of them. This is probably because the state has arrogated that responsibility to itself. Now, speaking of politics and judicial reform, one of the most recent and evident examples of that would be when the Lok Sabha passed the National Judicial Appointments Commission Bill and the Constitutional Amendment Bill. The NJAC was set up to appoint judges to the higher judiciary. It would include representatives of the executive along with others. Now, both the houses of parliament passed this bill unanimously, ignoring all amendments that were proposed in the parliament. A vigilant citizen had been deprived of his legitimate right to be enlightened with the pros and cons on the subject. Speaking of politics and electoral reform, in 2002, the Supreme Court held that the right to information is a fundamental right. And for a voter to make an informed decision, every candidate has to be submitting an affidavit declaring his family assets, educational background, and most importantly, his criminal background. Ingenious politicians found a way around this by leaving those columns blank. The notion that politics is a dirty game is an unfortunate one. Politics may be a difficult game fraught with dangers, but it doesn't have to be dirty. What makes politics dirty is big interests or lobbies bent on hijacking influence and putting their interests before that of the nation. So let's not be part of the ignorant generation which says that India ka kuch bhi nahi ho sakta. Instead, let's be an active participant in making the change that we want to see. Thank you.
बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद। दिव्यांगना चौधरी तेलंगाना से आती हैं और अपनी बात को बहुत बेबाक तरीके से रखा। उनका स्वागत, अभिनंदन आपकी तालियों के साथ यहाँ मंच पर। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद दिव्यांगना। और जो अगला नाम हम पुकार रहे हैं वो हैं भौमिक जे कामदार, जो कि गुजरात से आते हैं और MBBS के 3rd ईयर के स्टूडेंट हैं। भौमिक जे कामदार आज के विषय पर अपनी राय रखेंगे।
Honorable dignitaries, on the dais, off the dais, and my dear friends. India is a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. These 5 words essentially describe as to what really India stands for. For any democratic institution to remain vibrant and relevant, it is essential that its constitution is continuously reviewed and new ideas are incorporated, keeping in mind the changing global scenario. Dr. Manmohan Singh had famously said in his budget speech in 1991, nothing is as powerful as an idea whose time has come. And it is essential that we undertake reforms proactively rather than being forced to do so in crisis situations. Now, if we look back at world history, we will realize that nations which became independent along with India, they have become victims of military dictatorship or family ruled dynasties. So what is it that we are still a democracy? Maybe chaotic, but we are still a democracy. And the credit for this should go to the democratic mindset of Indians, to our Independent Election Commission. But unfortunately, this does not take away the fact that yes, unscrupulous, uncontrolled, unrestrained use of money power and muscle power does exist within our system. Can we deny that? Can we deny that Ayaram Gayaram culture still exists in our electoral system? Of course not. And what did we do? We had committees after committees, we had Goswami committee, we had Vora committee, but then what came out of it? And believe me, I am not a pessimist. I still believe that the present dispensation will take up the recommendations given by the present Law Commission in its 255th report. And to think that when legislature and the executive are faltering, judiciary is the lone saint. What do we know about judicial appointments? What happens behind the four walls? And we have documented evidences where High Court Chief Justices could not join Supreme Court just for interpersonal rivalries. And can the judiciary infringe in a legislative domain? Doesn't it undermine our democracy? But I am not a pessimist. And I believe that the idea of India being a superpower, it's an idea whose time has come. And I believe that democracy is the most expensive form of governance because we are not free just by paying taxes. We have to give our thought, we have to give our mind, and unless we decide, the pressure should come from bottom, and then only can these reforms occur. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, भौमिक जे कामदार. और भौमिक जे कामदार का भी यहाँ मंच पर हम अभिनंदन करेंगे आपकी तालियों के साथ, हमारे युवाओं के हौसला अफजाई के लिए जोरदार तालियों के साथ. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.